Hey fourth graders, welcome back to another math lesson. This lesson will be focused on equivalent fractions and just a strategy around how to figure out an equivalent fraction using a model, using multiplication. There's a couple ways we can do it, and I'm going to show you those ways today, because remember, with equivalent fractions there can be more than one answer, more than one equivalent fraction, so we just want to make sure you know the different ways that you can find an equivalent fraction. So let's get started. A lot of the times you're going to be given a fraction model such as this one, and it's your job to figure out an equivalent fraction to the fraction model that you're given. So one of the first steps is just labeling. If they haven't labeled for you the equivalent, the fraction here, that's your first step, right? So again, just to remind ourselves, the way we figure out a fraction to label it is you have a numerator and a denominator, and the denominator is a number of equal parts. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts, and the numerator is how many are shaded. So I see 1 is shaded. So this fraction here is 1/6. And now my job is to find an equivalent fraction to 1/6. Again, there can be more than one. I'm just going to show you a couple different ways that you can figure out an equivalent fraction. So one of the easiest things to do is when you look at your model, you want to figure out, what can I do? How can I change this model to make it into another fraction that's going to be equivalent, the same amount? I don't want to change the amount shaded, but I do want to come up with another fraction that would be the same amount. So what one of the first things I always do with equivalent fractions is just take my one piece and I'm going to double it and make it 2 pieces. And if I make this 2, I'm going to go all the way across. So now my denominator has changed. It's not 6 anymore. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 12 equal pieces. And let me see, my numerator also changed. It's not 1 piece anymore. It's now 2 pieces. So an equivalent fraction to 1/6 is 2/12. The fraction is different, the numbers are different, but it's still the same amount. I'm either eating one large piece of slice of the pizza, 1/6 of it, or I'm eating 2 pieces that equal to that, like 1 piece, 2 out of 12 pieces. So 1/6 is equal to 2/12. So that's one way to find an equivalent fraction. There are other equivalent fractions to 1/6. 2/12 is one of them. So for example, if I erase this line, say I didn't want to double it, I wanted to take my 1 piece and make it into 3 pieces. I could do that too. I could do so, and now I don't have 1 piece anymore, I have 3. So let me see how many equal pieces I have here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 equal pieces. And how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3. So another equivalent fraction to 1/6 is 3/18. So just so that if we have some multiplication masters out there, just so you know what's really going on multiplication wise with this equivalent fractions, is that, so what happened here is we started with 1/6, but we doubled our denominator, which means we multiplied by 2 to get to 12 pieces. And whatever you do to the bottom or the top of the denominator, you got to do the same for the numerator and the denominator. So if I do times 2 here, and that's what happened, I went from 1 piece and I broke it into 2 pieces times 2. That's where I got the 2 pieces from. So that's a way to check if your equivalent fraction is correct. These are correct equivalent fractions. Same thing here. We went from having 1 piece, we cut it into 3 pieces, so that's times 3, and the rule is whatever you do to the numerator, you got to do the denominator, so times 3, and 6 times 3 is 18, so again, that is a correct equivalent fraction. So it's up to you if you want to use a model, you can use multiplication. I just want to show 2 strategies to figure out if you're ever asked to find an equivalent fraction. These are some strategies that you can use. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.